A pleasant good morning, friends, family, frenemies. As you know, I always wish you a good morning, as it is the best part of the day before anything has gone wrong. Today, I do have an issue. Well, I'm feeling a bit uninspired because I did read a newspaper. Well, I'm sorry. Welcome to this edition of Richard's Rant. Clearly, I was a bit anxious to start the rant in this case. So, subscribe and comment towards our betterment. And welcome to Richard's Rant. I'm not feeling inspired, I'm feeling disgusted, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling irritated, I'm feeling annoyed by the news. Maybe because I'm a guy, we are fascinated with measuring things, and I feel as though we're just coming up short when compared to the rest of the world. I'm reading the international news and I'm reading our news, and it's like, we just plain up and we ask. We have been independent for what? I think enough years. I'm not going to do the math because I'm realizing too I might be a bit tired and I can't exactly remember the year we became independent. I think it was 62. Yes, we have some citizens that are older than the country. My dad, for one, grandparents, my neighbor, but we have been independent for enough time. What, 5, 6 decades now? Sure, there are nations that have been independent for hundreds of years that are still doing shit, but I feel as though we have advantages that they didn't have. They became independent before indoor plumbing. We became independent, then came TVs, computers, the internet, cell phones, satellites in the sky. What else really going on? I mean, really, what else really going on? How is it that you have countries in the world where we have a farmer that have an electronic mutt killer? So first to begin, here the heights, right? He have a farm, and this dude is growing aromatic plants which he sells to restaurants across the world. He have a little greenhouse and he growing aromatic plants that he sells to restaurants across the world. I mean, look at that kind of heights. I never even think to thought to experiment with something like that. And you could have a greenhouse in your second bedroom, downstairs in the back. Which part you have all that rubbish in the park, the community park. That could be in the corner of the school. That could be a project for the school to get some money, like how in Tobago they say, what, the denominational schools does have the budget, and it's not for lack of what's the word, lack of, it's not mismanagement of the money, but the denominational schools and blah, 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 blah. So look at what he's doing, and he has a drone system that kills the pests, specifically moths. So the drone system, so the system manager for the drones would observe, hey, look a moth, and then it would look for the closest drone in proximity to it and fly that drone into the moth, killing it. Here the heights. I mean, all we have down here is Baygon. A little bug spray. For crying out loud, we still have cockset. So, and this is where we reach abroad. I mean, that's embarrassing. Aranguez farmers couldn't even listen to the news properly or watch the weather to know that it was going to rain to try to put something in place to save the crops. There's a whole article in the papers because it rained, they lost watermelon. Where the watermelon was growing on a hill? I don't understand. I just don't understand. You have countries in, like in the Arabian states, UAE, whereby women still have to ask permission from a male relative to go to school, to get a driver's license, to get a passport. And because it's still a bit taboo, it's still new, my species, dudes, think it's entertaining to drive alongside a woman in a car and drive up on the bumper and overtake while or follow her home just for the kicks of it, in spite of the fact that it's causing accidents and whatnot, just for the kicks of it. That for me is gender harassment. But in Trinidad, you have our Minister of Education telling women not to apologize for being nurturers. That it's perfectly professional for your children to call you during work, and you shouldn't have to apologize to your employer for that. And you shouldn't have to apologize for your monthlies. First to begin, your monthlies is your business. That should never become a knowledge in the workplace. If it is you cannot function with your monthlies, then you need to have a part-time job situation or be self-employed or get a hysterectomy. That is your business. And I don't care that I don't have a uterus. That one is on you. And yes, just because it is you have a child doesn't mean that the child's supposed to be able to call you. The reality of having a job is that you would have sold your hours of life and existence in this reality for X amount of money. And that now belongs to your employer. Terms and conditions apply. So, alright. If it is women should not apologize for being nurturers or being women who have in their monthlies, then why should men have to apologize and not behave chauvinistic or their natural instincts? Why it is when a woman come to work in a see-through blouse, for what I don't know, with a nice bow or button up to she throat, but the whole thing see-through, then we could just whistle and hoot and say, damn girl, you getting me hard. I just want to grind up on you. Because men shouldn't apologize for being men. And we can't come to work in a see-through shirt or pants for that matter. But you could, you name woman. You could wear your sexy heels with your toes outside and your toe ring and your ass high up in the air because you're on heels. And we just have to be respectful of that. Nobody cares if when it is you walk, I can't stand up straight for a little bit. That's my problem. But you don't need to apologize for being a woman. And that is from the minister. That's a leader in our country. I mean, thank God Paula not like that. Paula Mayweeks had this wonderful speech, talking about the whole picture with crime, violence, and everything. And she spoke about how she did all of this research and whatnot. But that wasn't sexy enough for the paper, so she only got 1 day. But yet still, poor Andrea, still in the papers, along with her black counterpart, whose name I can't remember. But her counterpart is only there because the masses kept saying that is an Indian thing, right? And that leads to something else. This cancer, this girl was a hero and it's turned into a cancer. It's actually being used as a catalyst for division of something so tragic. And instead of the newspaper do this kind of analysis and alert people to it, warn people, or at least try to do something, they're just perpetuating it. And not just the newspaper, but the media in total. And that hurts. That hurts. Then you have in England with Meghan and Shiman, they decide, that the palace was a little racist and whatever have you. The reality of that one is that she have mental health issues. She a little crazy too, and she couldn't deal with all the stress and whatnot. Mental health is no joke, although what I said might be humorous. And so they did what they had to do. But look at how they handled it. They announced to the world more than a year ago that they was going to do this. They let everybody acclimate. They wait until they reach next door to Oprah. They do the little interview. They get a little money. They will need a nest egg. They have another baby on the way and whatnot. I'm proud of her though. 2 babies at 39 when it is women become geriatric in reproduction from 31 and their eggs start dying and whatnot. 2 children back to back. But then again, she is a Prince Duchess of Sussex, so I guess she would have different healthcare, maybe injection, wherever have you. But look at how they are handling that. Same racist connotation underlying and whatnot, and they took the time to highlight it didn't necessarily come from the royals, and it was the tabloids and this kind of thing. And here we have in our situation, it just out and bad. No decorum, no proper acknowledgement. We even had in the elections a race situation with Auntie Cam Cam and then Uncle Rowley, and then you had this situation with if she brings she can't take up I will bite it with my dog and all kind of fuckery. You know, it's just embarrassing. At this point, you have children developing apps. You have people leaving Beijing and dealing with American racism and becoming filmmakers and getting nominated for Oscars. And we can't access social media or a bunch of features in the National Library. We giving away laptops but at a handicap. We have internet, but I can't get data when it is in my dining room. I mean, and I live in a mansion. Certainly I'm not. Otherwise, I wouldn't be concerned about neighbors hearing and when, well, no, not neighbors hearing when I'm doing the rants, but it coming up on the recording when it is that about Candace! Oh God, darling! Where you going, Babylon? Right, so, fortunately, I ain't hearing any of that this evening. So, you know what else I wonder? I wonder what it's like for you to lose a loved one publicly and to turn on the newspaper or the media and see a photo of them. I don't think that the newspaper does send you a little message before, so you just see along with the public, but that was your child. Like, she would have lived inside of you, come out, you would have wiped her ass, teach her to talk, and she just plastered across the media like that. And it's for the gain, just the gain of them. And speaking of gain, even the shortcomings are really minuscule. They're just pushing this female agenda all of a sudden. A woman was charged with armed robbery and she's 19. Actually, she turned 19 while in police custody. And her attorney is arguing that because she's a mother and she's breastfeeding and because her baby daddy recently died, she should get bail. And I'm wondering why, because she's a breastfeeding mother, why that have to do with anything? Most of the men in jail is child fathers. As a matter of fact, I'd have warrants out for child fathers for not paying alimony and stuff. How come that doesn't be a defense? She didn't know that she was breastfeeding when she was committing the armed robbery. And more importantly, the child father is the accomplice in the armed robbery and he got shot by the police. He didn't die. But that was a little piece, and then you had another female that was charged for fraudulent conversation. So I learned something today. I wonder if we could hold employers and churches and leaders to that fraudulent conversation. But she was able to amass 300,000 TT dollars by telling 2 or 3 different people only. So I mean, trying that on money. Still, different lies, and she got through, and of course she wasn't able to do what she said she was going to do. So what I assume is that she probably didn't think she was going to get through, and then when the person realized she was lying, she had to give them back the money. So she tried again to give that person back the money, and she had expenses, so she would have given some, and then she tried again to try to cover and take back everybody, and she got catch. But I wouldn't know because that wasn't really important. What was important is, women in crisis, women crying. And they're going as far as to pull stories and articles from across the world about women in need. So you have the World Health Organization now, stating that women in particular risk because of the COVID lockdowns because they're in abusive relationships from men specifically. So it have no men in abusive relationships, some women. It have no children. It just have women getting abused by men, and they have no way out. It do have shelters, it do have police, it do have churches, it do have any way out for them. And then you're telling me that the caregiving responsibilities were unequally passed on to women. Why is that? Our minister just said that her women are natural caretakers and they should not apologize. So, as they are natural caretakers, why would it fall on men? And even if is it not chivalrous for the man to go out and work and face the dangers of corona and have the woman in the home taking care of the household and his children and keeping them safe? It's like you can't win. I don't understand what they're saying. And this is the World Health Organization. What they ask, if women are these substandard creatures that need to be nurtured and taken care of, say so. But you can't tell me you want women in management, but you in management and I have to be kind to your monthlies. It don't work like that, chunkalungs. You can't tell me that you want to be the head of the World Health Organization and if it is your child call you, that take first preference. Darling, it don't work so, baby. It doesn't work like that. And this one woman get killed in England, and that in our newspapers. One woman, First to begin, here the sketchiness of the story. She went out. She's 32. She's a nurse. And here the detailer, and this happened in England. She's 32 and a nurse, and she went out and she decided to walk back home after liming with a male friend. She decided to walk home and never made it home to find her body on the other side of London. I don't know London geography, but the way they make it sound is like she was supposed to be in Chaguanas and they find she in Bonaccord. So, but she decided to walk home, right? And here the distance, 15-minute walk home. I don't understand any of that story, but that is being used as, women and the safety of women, and we need to this and we need to that. If it is we need to discuss the safety and stuff of women, you will need to go in the UAE, where it's still legal for a male relative to murder a female relative if it is he thinks that she is being immoral. Not if it's proven, not even if it had a consensus, not even if it had a family meeting or a discussion. If he wake up in the morning and he just realized that she hijab was too short, he could bust she throat. There's where you need to focus, darling. Not if it is you decide to walk home after 11 at night, a 50-minute walk home for reasons beyond me and you died. We sorry, but that shouldn't be in my newspaper. But my newspaper is perpetuating that just to keep the rhetoric. What kind of evil, nasty kind of people is this? And it just preying and kusuming inside people's emotions like a cancer. To what end? Why it is we want to cause this kind of division among our people is together we aspire, together we achieve. But when it is we're not united, it seems like people like Agostini very much achieving, because with that merger that they had with Oscar Francois, guess who bringing in all 4 brands of the I go to say Zika Corona vaccine. So who gonna make that money, right? And if you remember from a previous rant, Agostini didn't even pay for that company with Oscar Francois with actual money. They paid with shares. So they used their own currency that they create to make money from the pandemic. So is it deliberate to distract the masses while stuff just happening? You have reports of people living on Shaka Shakari and robbing people when it is they go down the islands. And it's not Trinidadians, it's Venezuelans. So they're paying to reach Trinidad or Shaka Shakari, because apparently that is a thing, and they're living down there. You have organized intricate criminal elements being merged between Latin America and Trinidad because of the influx of Latin Americans, because of how they mess up their economy. So is it that all these things are distraction from that? You have that we still very much so far up America as it is look like a tail. And America vexed with Venezuela and Venezuelans coming here and causing that little rift. That's what happened with the repatriation and all of that. So could, help jeopardize us more. But nobody reporting on things like that. Is it deliberate? One has to wonder. This is an island whereby we give birth to the music of the Caribbean. That came from this island. Calypso is the music of the Caribbean. Alright? Calypso gave birth to reggae. Reggae gave birth to dancehall. Calypso gave birth to soca. Soca gave birth to junkanoo. And I think it have another one. And all of that came from Calypso. The steel pan was created here. We are one of the top 5 places in the world for cuisine. What are we doing? We have one of the largest brain corals in the Western Hemisphere. We are the only Caribbean country with oil and gas. What are we doing? We have one of the best carnivals in the world. We have the only had because they sell it, but the only usable pitch lake in the world. What are the fucking resources we needed to make it? Where we want again? What we really want again? What we doing? And most importantly, where we going? What Trinidad gonna look like in the next couple of years? I mean, I'm gonna look a bit sexy, and I'm gonna keep myself in shape and whatnot so that I could benefit from the sexiness. Because I mean, like I show a Douglas and a Venice will make a real sexy child, or a black and a shiny, or I don't really know Indian and white. That does just be black, but like at them dark and light. Ooh, they will make some kind of sexy children. So it would look good in that regard. But if it is in 2021, before my birthday, we are already over $10 billion in debt. And we're not diversifying the economy. And oil prices going down. And it have all these things going on in the background. And people jumping up, like if women in this great danger. And it's not that we have a whole crime problem. It's not that we have social problems. It's not that we have economic problems. It's not that we have leadership problems. It's not that we have judiciary problems. It's that women in danger from men. So you literally breaking up families now. Well, yeah, because it's illegal to have gay families. So yeah, you literally breaking up families now. Husbands against wives, mothers against sons, daughters against fathers, etc. is where it come into. Because at the end of the day, the men that endangering women is somebody's son, is somebody's brother, is somebody's husband, is somebody's father. But the man is the villain now. So what are we doing? Exactly. Where's the point? Where's the purpose? Where's the rhyme? Where's the reason? And alright, fine. That's the main rhetoric. Not everybody listening. But that's not true. That's not true. When it is you listen to the radio, they're not even talking standard English again. You had to have a particular deportment and decorum to be in media, but now it looks like media is to represent the uneducated, or if it is, it's a reflection of society telling me society uneducated, which is not true. So we just handicapping ourselves with all the choices that we make. And while it is as individuals, we have to do the best that we can do. We have to individually see ourselves as part of a whole. This is our country. This is our place. It is not fair for us to leave our country and go in somebody else's own and use their resources. It's not fair. It's not right. Especially if it is we squandering and fucking up our own. That is not fair. At some point in time, we have to get to fuck up and do something. We have to start to not take it. And it's not hard. The reason why it's hard is because all of us not doing it. We can't do everything. We cannot do everything. But if each one of us do the best that we could do in our jobs, in our station, if it is we think a little bit, if it is we don't try to just be meeting the approval of our peers, but we think about the bigger picture, if it is we have a proper goal, if we think outside of the box just a little bit, if it is we at least acknowledge that we're stupid and try to educate and enhance ourselves, it will get better. I can't sit down here and fix the judiciary. But if you're working in the blasted courthouse, or you are a judge or you are an attorney, you do your part. You inspire your part. That's a serious thing. If you're a doctor or a nurse or a nursing assistant or an orderly or a patient care assistant in the hospital, you do your part. You do your part. You're not doing me a favor by going to work, as I was told by one of them, because they're working during Corona, they're doing us a favor, to which I replied, well then it's best you take no pay leave. And they didn't like that answer. Just do your part. And you know what? It would inspire people. Just like how nastiness does spread, so does goodness. Just do your part, people. Just do the best that you could do, please. Because otherwise, I don't know where we're going. I really don't know where we're going. I have nieces, I have nephews, I have 4 or 5 godchildren. I still want children. I have friends, I have family. And I don't know what is going to become of us in the next decade. We would all still very much be alive, most likely. I have no idea. In my lifetime, our doubles raise by 500%. In my lifetime, cricks raise, I dare say, by 330%, because at one point in time it had $1 bag of cricks. Milk at one point in time used to be $25. Where are we going? Right now, Venezuela printing $500,000 notes and $1 million notes. Jamaica is like $10,000 for bread. Oh God, and don't talk about Guyana. And I don't even know if Haiti still have a currency. Is it inculcated in us to just fuck things up? It have some great master plan at play here to just, somehow suppress people, suppress the masses, or just be stupid? I don't get it. I got a post today about how Mahatma Gandhi was evil and he was racist and all of that. And a quick Google search is going to tell you that in his early years he was. Apparently he always used to write. And yeah, he was. And then he outgrew it, and he was all about the unity and whatnot. But regardless of what he was or he wasn't, you cannot take away the value of the good that the man did. Which one of us are perfect? Which one of us do have a stupid thought, or a racist thought, or an insensitive thought, or a wicked thought? How you would just take away is the same shit we do with Bill Cosby. And we would never know exactly what went on in them rooms. Watch how much times I have had sex under the influence of drugs. For the fun of it. Both are we high, or all of us, but I digress. The point is, we would never know what happened in them rooms. But for him to have quote unquote raped so much women, I mean, women this talk, I find it hard to believe that you didn't know that he was gonna get touched by the time he reached the 10th one or the baker's dozen. Like we said, the 13th. I don't understand how he get up to 75, but I don't know, and he's standing the consequences for his actions. But is it right that his entire legacy just amount to rape? Is a million good things times nothing is still nothing? So you telling me that that rape just is a black hole for everything he ever was, and his entire legacy gone, and everybody that was a part of it is collateral? Does that really seem fair? So you telling me that if it is we find one bad thing about Jesus, we're gonna get a new religion, or Buddha, or Allah, or Muhammad? Where these unfair, unrealistic, foolish ideas came from? Good and bad exist, and they exist because the other one exists. You have to take the good from things, or the bad. You have to take what you need to take from it and see the whole picture. Look, I just hope that this inspires you listening to do some good, to do some better, and to do your best. Because I real frustrated. I'm really frustrated with this one. Because I can't believe what I see in these newspapers and thing have editors and whatnot. And if it is you have all of that power, you're supposed to exercise with a little bit of responsibility. At least you're supposed to see the bigger picture. You shouldn't be a big ass minister telling women to make excuse to their periods. For Christ's sake, most female bathrooms have a little bed to lie down on and whatnot. I never went in a male bathroom and see a jockeying station. Again, since it's on the internet, jerking off, back fists, whatever, what do you call it? You get the point. I have never seen that. I've never seen that men could take a porn break during the day after you have a stressful meeting or something. As a matter of fact, women could access makeup, shoes, shopping, chat sites, but we can access Pornhub. That is a whole scene. Religious people could access religious sites. That is a whole scene. We all bring something to the table, and we need to apply that suspicion filter to anything that seems to want to divide it. Anything that wants to create spaces or widen the cracks and decide what it's filling it with. Anything that wants to be a cavity to erode on the fabric and the potential of society. So that's it for me. Richard, Rant, signing out. Subscribe if you like it. Comment towards our betterment. Vibes.